A dangerous killer is on the loose.
Subject is armed.
But what police don't know is that he's now lying in wait for them. And a blazing shootout will leave one of them down and dying from a barrage of more than a dozen bullets.
Stay with us, buddy. Just lay there. We got you.
Among the cops involved in this furious gun battle in Oregon City, Oregon, State Trooper Nick Cederberg, Police Officer Joseph Twigg, and Sergeant Jordan Weston of the Sheriff's Department. It's December 25th, and Jordan, Nick, and Joseph wish they were home with their families. But then, around 1 a.m.,
I heard the radio come to life.
1421, are you monitoring?
a man has just murdered his estranged wife at their home and fled in a white car.
What do we know about this guy? Anything? Does he have friends, family?
Within minutes, he's racing at more than 100 miles an hour. The fugitive killer in the white car is parked with a loaded gun. Nick hits his spotlight. The suspect hits the gas.
We in pursuit of this guy. We're on Bell Road.
Other cops rush to help Nick.
We're coming up to the junction here, 99 Bell Road.
Among them, Joseph Twigg.
I was going as fast as my car could go, trying to catch up, because they had a pretty good lead on me.
My car wasn't fast enough. I couldn't get there fast enough.
Then a chilling radio call from Nick, who is suddenly dodging bullets. The alleged killer keeps firing at Nick from his car window.
Shoot more rounds.
We didn't know exactly where they were at.
Suddenly, the police radio crackles with a call for help.
I've been shot!
It got really, really eerily quiet, and this sense of dread.
All units are frantically trying to find the location of the shooting.
Coming up behind you. I don't know what the suspect's at.
Patrol car by patrol car, they finally begin to arrive at the scene.
See the car?
Got your left.
Cops find Nick's patrol car sitting nose to nose with the fugitive killer's car.
And then I saw down on the ground an officer laying face down.
As several officers tend to their fallen brother, the rest are hunting for the shooter and warning neighbors to stay away.
In the house, lock the door.
Officer Joseph Twigg, armed with a rifle, suddenly gets a strange feeling.
I got the woods.
I told somebody, hey, cover my left. It felt exposed. You know, something about the left felt exposed.
Somebody get cover on him. We got cover on him. I got cover.
He moved up and he shines his light there, and I just remember
He's right there.
his face sitting in the bushes, looking right at us. Next thing I know, a shot popped off. I was turning and I fired.
A shot that sets off a massive explosion of gunfire from other cops. Joseph believes the killer was counting on taking him down. Instead, Tylka is found lying dead, determined to have been self-inflicted.
I just put him
But the only police casualty is one officer on the ground by the side of his patrol car. It's State Police Trooper Nick Cederberg,
Code 0, trooper down.
barely clinging to life after he was shot 12 times. But miraculously, Nick is moving.
I remember seeing Officer Twigg tending to him.
Hey, Nick, it's Twig. All right? Stay with me, buddy. Hey. Stay with us, buddy. You're good. Just lay there. We got you.
Nick Cederberg clings to life by a thread, hit by a dozen bullets in a wild shootout with crazed fugitive James Tylka, who had just murdered his estranged wife. And Tylka himself would die moments later. The 32-year-old Oregon State Trooper is rushed to the hospital, where his frantic wife, Haley, also a cop, is already waiting for the ambulance to arrive.
That moment I will never forget. Covered. They were everywhere. Arms, chest, hip. I thought he was dead, and I felt in that moment that I had lost my husband.
Her husband is dealing with internal bleeding, a collapsed lung, broken ribs, and broken bones in both arms and hands.
It was terrifying. He said Nick likely won't ever be able to walk again because he has 2 bullets in his spine, and we don't know how bad that is.
It would be several agonizing days before Haley would learn Nick would miraculously survive.
He put his hand up, like his casted hand, to give me a high five, and I just broke down in happy tears for the first time. Then I knew he'd be okay.
After 48 days in the hospital and more than a dozen surgeries, Nick is released.
I don't think I could do this without my wife, Haley. She's just helped me unbelievably through this.
Once back at home, Nick gets around in a wheelchair and crutches, full of determination.
I'm gonna come out on top, 100%.
Nick returns to the scene to recount what happened in those final moments he thought would be his last.
I started firing towards his windshield of his vehicle. He was also shooting back. One of those first rounds, a bullet struck me in my hip. After I went through another 16 rounds, he charged to the front of my hood and started shooting straight down on top of me within probably a couple feet. He took the gun out of my hand.
The killer aims Nick's own pistol directly at his head.
Kind of an execution, one more shot.
But by miracle, the bullet misses literally by a hair.
I remember the snap of the concrete when that bullet went right by the back of my head. Once I heard the other officers arrive, we were back probably 20 yards. I tried to move my arms so they'd know I was there.
I got the woods. I got the woods. Hey, he's right there! Where's the gun?
And in the blink of an eye, James Tylka ends up dead after the epic gun battle with cops.
50 seconds. That's what it took.
Nick has been honored for his courage under fire by police organizations from his home state of Oregon to Washington, D.C.
Thank you so much for having me be a part of this. My wife asked me, knowing what you know now, would you go through it again? And I said, hell yeah.